We'll keep having people. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the masterclass on the hero's journey. I am Shivani, and I'm your host for this session. But before we start this session, let me ask all of you a question. And before I do that, can I request all of you to please put the camera on? I'm sure there are very beautiful faces hiding behind the camera. So, guys, please show your beauty. Please put on your cameras. It'll be really good to see everybody who's joined us on the session today. Okay, I can see Maheshwari, I can see Shimpi, Shri Priya, Shrikant, uh, Arti. Okay, we're waiting for the others. Thank you. Thank you for switching on your cameras. Look, I was right. Such beautiful faces hiding behind the camera for no reason. Please keep your cameras on. Okay, Vinisha is on her walk. Okay, all right. So do listen in, but if you can switch on for some time, it'll be great. So, superb. It's really good to see you all. Thank you for taking out time on a Friday evening and coming for this masterclass. Um, so before we start this session, let me ask all of you a question. Okay. So have you ever felt like life is throwing twists at you faster than probably a binge-worthy Netflix series? It's like one moment you're cruising along, and the next is it's like bam, you're in the middle of a challenge you didn't sign up for. Does that sound familiar? I can see people smiling, nodding their heads. Well, congratulations, you're officially on your hero's journey. So the hero's journey is not, just for the mythical warriors and the Hollywood protagonists, maybe. It's your story. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, every time you face a challenge, every time you push through resistance, you are living your own hero's journey. And today we have the perfect guide for this adventure. Deepa. Deepa is a seasoned leadership facilitator. As you all know, she's an ICF credentialed coach, she's PCC, and self mastery expert who designs and facilitates conscious leadership journeys, enabling ambitious leaders to achieve success with balance. She beautifully weaves her psychology knowledge with an in depth understanding of human behaviors and emotions into her workshops, something I think is a powerhouse combo, if I may say so, Deepa. She's helped countless individuals unlock their inner hero and navigate their twists and turns of personal and professional growth. So, buckle up, heroes, because today we're decoding the ultimate blueprint for transformation, resilience, and success. We strongly urge you to make this session interactive. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat box, and we will surely take them up as and when we can. With that, let's give a heroic welcome to Deepa. Welcome, Deepa.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Welcome to each one of you to this space. The way I've designed today's masterclass, today we'll focus on the hero's journey. The heroine talking about the hero's journey.
Yes, I was about to say that. Where is the heroine?
Yeah, so when I was thinking of this masterclass, now I was looking at all the trials and turbulences that I have had in my life, and so many people coming into my life to unravel what I needed to unpack from my life's journey, and therefore I thought that it is worthwhile to make it interactive. So at every stage that I am going to share, I have reflection questions. So it's not going to be a monologue. I'm going to present those questions, and together we will actually reflect on our hero's journey. It's not that you're going to start your hero's journey, you already are on one.
Yes.
So let's use this as a way to integrate the journey. So that's my urge and my submission to you. I hope that's okay, and you can be on that journey with me. Any questions? I think that's the way I want to lead this today.
Superb. I think that's a very thoughtful approach, Deepa.
Thank you.
And you rightly said that everybody is already on the hero's journey. It's just a matter of knowing it and realizing it and appreciating
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's all. So here's the hero's journey for you. What is the hero's journey? Uh, when I didn't know about the hero's journey, yes, Maheshwari.
Uh, so basically, the hero's journey came into my life when one of my
Mhm.
mentors introduced me during one of the storytelling workshops. Okay.
Yes.
And since then, I had been smitten about this particular approach. And this is one of the tools which was mentioned by Joseph Campbell. And when we talk about the hero's journey, you pick up any movie, okay? You would see, be it Hollywood or a Bollywood, you would see that some or the other way you would have this reflection and a journey through the hero's journey. So that's, and of course, so it's basically talks about the archetypes, which is coming from the theories of C.G. Jung. So, and of course, there's more to it. I would not want to kill that flavor for everybody now. So this is what I can share as a submission to begin with.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so beautifully, Maheshwari, you have laid the foundation of what I was going to speak. Yes, it is. I was going to keep the book with me, but unfortunately, I think I missed that. But it is the hero's journey actually is by Joseph Campbell. And he is beautifully, if you can pick this book is called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. It's a very thick book. Somebody had gifted it to me. I thought I'll never read that book. Not that I've read the book fully, but that book really made a difference to my life, especially in times when I was going through hell and I couldn't understand why the hell I was going through that. So what Campbell did that he studied different myths because he was a mythologist. He studied myths, he studied legends, he studied spiritual stories from cultures around the world. And one thing that he discovered that all of these followed a same essential pattern. And what is that pattern? It's like our pattern. Like Maheshwari said, there's a hero. The hero receives a call. Sometimes the hero takes the call, sometimes lets go, but the call comes back again and again. It's universe's call. The hero then jumps into the call, faces trials, faces challenges, turbulences, goes through the struggle, very difficult, transforms. After they transform, they return back into the real world with the Amrit, with the newfound version of themselves, and that they use to serve others. So, yes, you will find in movies, you will find in different places. It's a great storytelling tool. It's a great personal storytelling tool. It's used, I use it in coaching as a diagnostic. I used to use it even when in my leadership journey. When I was a leader back then, looking, working with my team members, so that I used to understand where are they on this journey, so that I can really either intervene and or not, depending on where they want to go. So it's applicable in leadership, in coaching, in every. I've applied in parenting. Currently, my oldest son is 20, and I am in the process of applying it in parenting very actively. No, but that's happening already. So this can be applied in every walk of life. And what I love about it is it's a framework. If you are lost, if you don't know where you are, go back to this framework and really map where I am. You'll get through. It's not that you'll get through, you'll understand it. Sometimes you still need a coach, sometimes you still need a mentor, you still need a journey person to support you with the right questions, look at it in the right perspective. And that's all part of the whole process. So it's simply put, it's a fantastic tool to transform very actively or understand your transformation journey actively. Yeah. And yeah, बहुत सारे questions, you've really become silent once you know it. Any
Mm.
questions? I'm going to talk about it in detail and each and every path because it has got such precious pearls in it. So this is the entire journey. You know, it's like us. We enter. we are all in the ordinary world. There comes a call to adventure. There is some moment of truth. And I mean, sorry, yeah, I'll parallelly talk about an example. So I'll talk about this example in 2013. Uh, I had quit work. I was in my dance therapy training, and I had almost finished my training. Like everybody else, we had 13 of us in the batch, a great cohort. We were an intimate group. You know what happened when I finished my final presentation? My supervisor and teacher, and also the originator of the course, told me that you will not graduate. And I remember that date. I was furious because we were mandated X number of therapy sessions, X number of like we had to take therapy, we had to give therapy. There were numbers. I had exceeded all these numbers.
I think
Shivani,
somebody
can
is
you
on
please
unmute.
mute?
Yeah. Can everybody please mute themselves?
I think Ashwini can do it. If she's
Sorry.
there. Yeah.
All right.
So that for me, that moment was the call.
Wow.
But I refused the call. How? By projecting on my teacher, by bitching about her, by saying, how can she do it? I did all of that. Uh, and then what happened is that I had a one on one with her, and she told me that you are projecting. You need to go to therapist. So, in one sense, it was a meeting with also the mentor who was the one who had failed me. Because I actually remember I said, I have failed and I can't bear this failure. I had failed. And she told me who's the person who you could choose as a therapist. Now, for me, I was already in therapy and I did not enjoy that experience of therapy. I was not seeking that. Then I told her that I think I'll go to a Jungian analyst as a therapist. For me, that was crossing that threshold. Uh, and then I started, deep therapy. For the next 9 years, I was in therapy, and I pursued my therapy with a Jungian analyst. Two of them came into my life, and at one point of time, I was working with three therapists because I realized that the tests and the inner enemies were so profound that I was not. It was a very 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 turbulent phase. But if you realize that from the what you think is the white world or the golden yellow world, you actually I went into the dark world and I stayed in the dark world for many many years because I was experiencing death at different points of time. And this, when I'm saying death, is the death of the ego self. And it's the rebirth of that authentic self that needed to be born because I am born for much larger things in life. And that was the whole deal that the universe had signed up with me. And there were mentors in the process, several mentors. I did receive the reward. I was on my road back. And once I was on my road back, I felt a very integrated sense of self. And once you come up, what happens is you want to share that nectar with people. This is the hero's journey, in really in short. So when I came out and when I started understanding what is the inner world through different methodologies, I got certified. I was searching, struggling, all of that. At some point of time I realized that I need to do different things. I need to facilitate workshops. I need to coach. For several years, I gave therapy to people. I facilitated workshops. I became a part of many institutions. I was the president of Wiki Mental Health Council of Karnataka, so that I can give back. So I realized that I was in a place to share the elixir. And the one of the important things to note is that this understanding that I have the elixir now, and I'll keep getting more and more, is a central part of the hero's journey. Yeah. So now these 12 steps are broken into are there are three phases actually. The first phase is the departure. It's that leaving the unknown. It's the awareness that there is something brewing. I can ignore it, but after a point, I can't ignore. And the same thing happened when I quit my work. I couldn't ignore the fact that I am not happy. I just couldn't do that. And I'm sure many of you who would have quit your full-time jobs would have exactly felt this. And quitting and being insecure would have been better than really being there and struggling and suffering. It's a choice you
Yeah.
make. And the departure also has resistance. It also has resistance. It is also the leap. So that's one section. Once you take the leap, is the next one, which is initiation. And initiation is about transformation by burning, by going through the fire, by trials, by different trials. And if you map your trials, you will see each trial would have made you a different you, which is why when you are a leader or a coach, you can actually see what they're going through because you can only take your client as much as you have traveled. And that happens because you've gone through the initiation process. And when I ask, no, who initiated me? The only one answer that comes is universe. Because different people came into my life, but ultimately who held space was the cosmos, was the universe, through different people, of course. And this initiation is also a time when people really understand that there is an inner world and there is an outer world. Everything is not the outer world. There is an inner world that I cannot ignore. I need to pay attention to. So there is breaking down, there's building up. All that all that metamorphosis happens to us. And you then come and sit with insights. And when I was making this slide, I realized that when I gave my TEDx talk, I think, which year is this? 2022. So my TEDx talk was on, the theme was hope. And I loved that theme. And when I got this opportunity and I got invited, I really jumped into it. And I talked about my life. So 2022 for me was that time when I understood, I had full insights about my life. And in the end, there are 6 pearls that I shared as insights. So for me, I felt like that was the time when I was returning and I wanted to do this. And return also keeps happening at different points of time, depending on what is dying and what is birthing. So return is the time when there is integration, there is a test. You have to pass through. Have you transformed? Or is it just a facade? And if you really transform, then are you willing to share this gift with the world? In fact, one of the reasons I do master classes, irrespective of how many attend or how many register, is to share the gift. Because when I give, I transform. This return happens to me again and again and again and again. When I coach, that's what happens to me. Because when I'm seeing the client, I know parts of me which I've healed, parts of me I have not healed. Although I separate it, but I can still observe it. So that these are the 3 large phases in which the 12 stages are divided. Any question at this point in
This is so pertinent, Deepa. And in
time?
fact, when I saw that word leap right in the
Hmm,
first
hmm,
stage, which is
hmm.
departure, I could correlate it to what somebody says. Like you said, you quit your job, and we call that transition of leaving a job, getting into entrepreneurship as leap of faith. And a
Yes.
lot of us who have quit, the corporate world and are entrepreneurs can so very well relate to of departure where you take the leap of faith
Yeah.
and you go through that entire rigmarole of being broken, of doubting, self-doubt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
coming up and
Yeah.
eventually coming to
Absolutely.
the third one. So it's a very
Absolutely.
pertinent question, a very pertinent framework. Thank you for
In
sharing.
fact, when I quit, no,
Hmm.
Shivani, I did
Hmm.
not know that I quit because I could not bear it. I didn't
Ah.
quit because I wanted something
Ah.
else. I had no idea.
Hmm.
I said that this torture I cannot bear. That was too much of torture. I
Hmm.
cannot go back one more day and work. I'm done.
Hmm.
That's how strongly. And one more thing to note is all these phases you actually can feel in your body, in your bones,
Yeah.
right in,
Yeah.
if you're sensitive and aware.
Yeah.
It's a very embodied feeling. And if you
Yeah.
pay attention to the way all each of this manifests in your body,
Yeah.
there are several ways
Mm.
to experience it.
Mm.
And that will give
Very
you an
true.
idea. किसी को पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है. You'll get an idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just that sometimes people are convinced of their idea themselves, but are looking for external affirmations to tell them.
Yeah.
Affirmations do play a very big role in sort of derailing you from the hero's journey. That's my personal experience.
Yes. So when you say that when you're derailed, that means the call has not yet come.
Yeah,
And
probably.
later on I'll share why that happens. That
Yeah,
surely happens. And that's real.
sure.
That's part of the journey.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Any resonances? Any ahas? Any ohos? Okay. If not, then I can.
Maheshwari has
Yeah.
another question.
Yes, Maisha.
No question. I completely resonate with what you
Yeah.
just mentioned.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
this is very interesting. The very first time when I heard this, I could relate to my own transformation. Okay. And when this model came um, in front of my eyes, I could relate with. So during 2010, when I was starting up, I was in a setup which was very secure. Okay. I was part of my family business. And then not knowing where I would land, and I started exploring the spaces. And one of the spaces I landed was Toastmasters. And this
Mm.
was the mother club of India, New Delhi Toastmasters.
Mm.
So there I met one of my mentors, friend, and a guide. His name is Dr. Ashish Sehgal. And so what I am today, the credit goes to him. So uh, you say this, that there's a guiding light. So he came as a guiding light in
Yes.
my life. Yes. Some of
Absolutely.
the ways, there was a time when nothing was happening. I would just simply go and cry in front of him. But then he was uh, he also let me go at some of the places that now you need to explore. So they are mature enough and know what actions they need to take ahead. So where I am, what I'm today, some of the credit goes to him as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I feel the same about Brinda, my teacher, who
Hmm.
failed me. I mean, she never failed me actually. That's my narrative.
Ah.
Actually, she was that person who pushed me because the
Hmm.
way I
Hmm.
searched, she told me you're broken,
Hmm.
and you need to see a senior therapist because what you're having inside cannot be dealt with by a junior.
Hmm.
And years later, I mean, this is after 2013. Today we are in 25.
Hmm.
Years later, I became that senior therapist to so many people who would lie to themselves and they think they're lying to me, but सफेद झूठ मैं पकड़ लेती हूँ because I
Hmm.
was exactly there. I knew, I
Hmm.
exactly know what all lies I used to tell. And there's a
Hmm.
joy. That time I had to tell those lies. It was too painful to reveal the truth.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I can't thank Brinda enough for what she did. She actually pushed me.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
after 1.5 years, I went back to her to get my certificate. And and then I did whatever what I was supposed to do something. She didn't even
Hmm.
look at my what I did. I
Hmm.
came back, I showed it to her. She gave me the certificate. She was waiting for me. She was waiting for me to get the certificate. My narrative was that she withheld it on purpose. मेरे पास खुन्नस है उसका. That was
Hmm.
my narrative. But she was waiting for me.
Hmm.
How beautiful what she did.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is the power of the hero's journey. And
You
and
know,
it
sorry, I'm interrupting you. So as I mentioned, I used to cry, and that was becoming a habit for me. So there was a time when he stopped taking up my calls. And then,
Yeah.
I was like, "भाड़ में जाओ तुम मुझे किसी की ज़रूरत नहीं है," and I would do
Yeah.
my things my own way. And that's when the time I really, moved into the new world.
Yeah.
And this was one of the darkest dungeons, I would say, of my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now what we'll do is that we'll go through each and every stage, and I have reflection questions. And we don't need to necessarily share the answers, but you please take the time to inquire into it for yourself, so that you can see where you are. Use it as a diagnosis for yourself or an integration, whichever way you want to. So this is, let's say, whenever, I don't know, now or before. Uh, the ordinary world. We're all in this world. Life as usual, comfort zone. We are operating from familiar patterns, but you are surely experiencing a feeling of shrinking, a feeling of contraction. You feel limited. But you're also at a stage where sometimes you ignore, TK, it's not as much. It's not pushed you enough to say that, oh, I need to consider this. So this is before the call. This is actually before the call, in normal world. Yeah. So uh, it's not that you're not stuck. It's just that you're not ready to acknowledge it. You are unfulfilled, but you're not ready to acknowledge it. Now, there are times people ask me, is there any time when people are fulfilled always? Uh, I don't know. I mean, right now, when I look at my life, I do feel fulfilled. I don't feel any traces of unfulfillment. So, yes, there could be times. And the way I have seen this journey is, मैं चुन चुन के मारती हूँ. Any unfulfillment, I will go there. Just so that I am free of this burden of carrying shrinkage. So, it's time for you to reflect. Right now, when was the time when your life was comfortable but constraining? If it is happening now, please identify it. And in which area do you feel that life is constraining? Because we operate in so many areas, not just work. So, and where do you feel it in your body? And I'm just going to pause so that you can reflect and make your notes.
Uh, Deepa,
Yeah, the
Ganesha
question
wants you to
is,
repeat.
yeah,
Yeah.
the question is, when was the time? I have also, it's also there in the, I know you're walking, so you can't see. When was the time when life was comfortable, but constraining? And if that time is now, then also recognize it. And when I'm saying life, no, life is many areas. So it can be family, it can be parenting, it can be finances, it can be career, or it can be knowing my purpose. It can be any areas. Which part in specific was constraining or is constraining? And where do you feel that in your body? Which part of your body you feel it?
So, Deepa, this will be based on before the call. This particular question we answer based on our
Yeah. So that you can
experience
identify
before the
it.
call.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, correct.
thanks.
Deepa, while everybody is
Yeah.
reflecting, just one little thought that came to my mind is, and it's slightly on the humorous side, that I wish the ordinary world was as green as these pictures here. And I'm saying it because I'm from Delhi, and in fact, Gurgaon, which is a concrete jungle. I wish we were as ordinary as this picture. Just wanted to, just a
I'm
thought that
sure
crossed my
Chandigarh
mind.
would be ordinary. This ordinary,
Oh,
na, Sarah?
oh yes. Oh yes, oh yes. But I think not, like it was 30 years back.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, of course.
but
Yeah,
definitely better than Delhi NCR, of course.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now let's go to Auroville to see these grains.
Oh, wow.
Hmm. So then the next is the call to adventure, the invitation to change. And this phase is about a challenge, a chance, a desire for something. And uh, it shows sometimes as something really disruptive, or it could be a knowing restlessness. It's like it's there, like on slow burner, and it's continuously kind of eating you. Like, for example, for me, when in 2012, before I quit, I remember it was for the last 6 months before I quit, it was eating me right from my child's parent teacher meeting, when my teacher told that, if you don't give him time, then he will act out. And then I did not get my leave. And then I had to put in so much of work. We slogged a lot. So it was continuously building up till, I think from March to December. And December is when I took the call that I can't take it anymore. So it was building up. So this is that phase, actually. So now you can reflect what was or what is calling you forward, even if it scares you. What is that invitation to change that calls you, but you're scared about it, but still it is there. And if you have gone through this journey, but there may be some other journey which is awaiting, maybe you can use that to reflect. Not necessarily what you have gone through, but what is wanting to come. Like, there are so many people I hold space for right now who want to set up their business, or who want to know what their core is, so that they can bring their voice, they can bring their brand out. So there is that call that's coming, and which is why they have come to me to figure that out. So that way, which area of your life this calling is coming? I was just thinking of the wheel of life, and probably this could be the area where you score lesser.
Absolutely. I think the fact that a lot of us are smiling when you mentioned the wheel of life, I think most of us would have written this in the reflection, one of the aspects of the wheel of life.
Deepa, I have a question here.
Yeah.
That like I am aware, and I
Yeah.
probably am like maybe looking at this particular thing in my life. But what if somebody in my immediate, circle, maybe like my child or my son who's like almost ready for the ordinary world, hopefully. And I'm like strongly sensing that this is what their stage is. So how do you, and because of that, my own journey is getting interrupted.
Yeah. So I think you have to look at it separately. And the way I will, especially if it is about child, then the way I have dealt with it is to make peace in my mind that it is their journey and not mine. Okay, and dealing it. And trust me, I found that 2-3 years later, they have risen to the call. Especially if you're talking about child.
Yeah.
It has taken time, but they have risen to the call after 2-3 years. And when they have risen, no, they are so ready and ripe that it almost felt like how Vrinda was waiting for me with that certificate. I'm
Mhm.
waiting for him with that I'm ready now to receive you.
Okay. Thank you.
Deepa,
Yeah. Yes.
this is very interesting to see, when I look at the first question and the second question. Okay. So, everything is so fine, but there's a constraint. Okay. So, this is, I go back to my journey when I was transitioning from a trainer to a facilitator or an OD consultant. Okay. So it was very, very tough because, in trainings, when I'm going to deliver the training, the program has been designed by me, but it's gone so too much of it. I said, कि बहुत सब नहीं हो रहा. I can't take this anymore. It was internal struggle. सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है. Your clients really want you to train there. They are calling you time and again. You can mint money like anything. But internally, you're not happy.
Yes.
It's like dil mange more.
Yes.
Internally, you want that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
even, I heard a lot of faces and a lot of voices, पर सब कुछ तो अच्छा चल रहा है. Why you are struggling? जैसे चल रहा है वैसे चलने दो. So this is,
Yes.
but then, I was not happy with the way things were happening, although they were fulfilling at certain point of time. But that juncture was so suffocating in itself. And then gradually I went, and in fact, in a way, you are living a values of an facilitator or a trainer, simply trainer. But then, when you move towards the value of a facilitator or an OD consultant, so the values are very different. So for 6, 7 months, I just stopped doing things. It was nahi ho raha. I'm not happy with it.
Yes.
So you
Exactly.
have to take those breaks to, unless and until you're not sorted internally, you have to, because you are there to sort other challenges. You can't take load
Yes.
of another backlog. That's
Yes.
that's something you need to be very, very particular about. Yeah.
Exactly. So, how deeply you feel at this stage will decide the next call. Actually, this paves the way you are saying, I can feel it in my bones how you feel, how you're feeling, and how you're narrating. So, it's like the call, exactly like this.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody else who has not spoken and who wants to share,
Deepa,
if you
hi.
could share. Yeah. Who's that?
Pooja.
Pooja. Yes,
Pooja.
Pooja.
Hi, Deepa.
Hi.
So, I was just reflecting on these questions,
Yeah.
and the second one, when
Yeah.
what feels right in your bones to
Yeah.
transcend
Yeah.
some patterns. So,
Yes.
does
Yes.
there could be a time where maybe you're not so familiar yet with your pattern.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
there is an assumption that you already have uncovered your patterns. So,
No, no,
what?
no. Like what she's saying, no, even this, like it's her pattern to train.
Huh,
It could even be doing patterns. It could be behavior patterns. It could even
yeah.
be what you're seeing, no, but you don't like it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and one of the pattern that I knew, one of the pattern I will do is lie. I used to lie.
Hmm.
Okay, and I could understand why the hell I do it. But I'm doing it. And I
Hmm.
hate that about myself. And that was like I can't bear it. To the extent that today I stand for authenticity. Matlab, it's like it's very deep in me. I will not lie. You give me whatever, I'll not lie. Because that was my need was authenticity, but it was a pattern. I did not know it at that time. But I was irritated with it. So the way to understand is whether you're irritated about it or not. But you feel restless.
Hmm. So
And you
there,
don't need to know psychology at all for this. You just need to
yeah,
be irritated enough,
and uncomfortable enough.
uncomfortable.
So
Yes, restless.
also there is a necessity for being in touch with your inner self and sitting in
Correct.
quiet and reflecting and so that is what I'm getting. But there are times that one is so caught up in their lives that
Yes.
that time for reflection is not there,
Correct.
and there is something calling you forward, but you can't pinpoint uh,
Yes.
your
Yes.
intuition, and you sometimes are at a fork when
Yeah.
you say what feels right in your bones. There are times in my life where I feel this also feels very right and that also
Correct.
feels very right.
Correct. Correct.
So that fork again, you're already not very much in tune with your own intuition or your
Yes.
inner voice, and when you're at
Very
a
true.
fork, you're
Yes.
worse off. So
Yes,
what
correct.
would one do if they're facing
Yeah.
this as part of their journey?
When you were sharing, I wanted to share that I was experiencing this. Yeah, and especially with respect to inner work. So I think inner work also can be done mindlessly, and I
Mm.
had mastered that part of inner work. So people would recognize me as doing inner work, but I think it was another ego mechanism for me. Okay, it is also to show in the yesteryears. What I realized was that the only serious, authentic inner work I was doing is when that 1 hour on Wednesday, 10:15 to 11:15, when I sit in my therapist's cabin.
Mm.
And I have never missed it, even a single week. Never. For me, everything can happen, but I will not miss it. Because I realized that's the only place which was breaking my pattern and which was authentic. And I realized that I needed another person. It was strange, but I was breaking the pattern. 10 years later, I told her, Mansa, I think I can be my own therapist now. It took me so many years because I had to shift my patterns. So and I have clients who are with me, and today it's not there, but I have clients who are with me for 9 years. They attend everything I do because they know it is difficult.
Mm.
And call happens multiple times in,
Yeah,
in our life.
that is what
We
also I had in
keep
mind.
going.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
not
keep
like a
going.
one.
No one time, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why it took 10 years, yeah. Because it was not ending. One over another starts, another over another starts. Then the hell, it is like never ending. I couldn't get the start and the end.
Mm.
If I'm winding wool, the start and end was not in my hands at all.
Yeah. Okay.
And when we don't understand this, there is a refusal to call. Because pakad mein nahi hai journey. So there is a refusal to call. Also, there's fear. So fear, comes up as not wanting to go, doubt, or denial. Just deny. It's fine. I mean, you rationalize. We are masters in using our head to stay safe. Okay, and sometimes we forget the call altogether. But I have realized that every time I have forgotten the call. When I resigned, my ex-boss, Maheshwari knows. When I resigned, my boss told me that I was waiting for it a year ago. You're 1 year late. He recognized it. He knew it. I did not know my restlessness. And the day I told him, he says, okay, you go. No resistance from him because he was waiting, just like Brinda was waiting. So, and the day he said yes, oh my God, what freedom. I did not know that. So even
Deepa,
right now,
the other way around, sorry, on this point, it's, the other way around is also true. It's like you have that calling, you know it, but when you do it, because the other person does not understand it, they view at it from a very maybe from 60,000 feet above. Oh,
yeah,
what a nice cushy job!
yeah,
What position?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So when I resigned, actually, my boss thought that there's something wrong with me
yeah. You're
because
mad.
who gives up? Who's you mad? Who gives up a senior position? Who gives up such a good package? To start afresh, to start entrepreneurship because it is your calling. I mean, it didn't, the word calling did not register.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the other way around is also very true that, your calling, but other people
Mm.
absolutely don't know. And that's where I think most of the people flip also. That's the affirmations that I was talking
Yeah,
about earlier.
yeah,
That
yeah,
because everybody else around me is saying, "Ye kya
yeah,
kar rahe ho?" So I
yeah,
also then start doubting whether what
yeah,
I'm doing is
yeah.
right or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. The biggest examples that I can have in this space is when I have clients who are in narcissistic abusive relationships. Okay, they know it, but they can't get out. Yeah, they cannot get out. It feels safe to be there because it's a known territory. Unknown is too scary. And yeah, it is very, very scary. I know of people who get scared to work with mentors or even business coaches. I mean, some mentors, because they know that they'll be pushed out of their comfort zone and it's too much work. So they'll stay with underplaying their potential and refuse
Very
the call.
true. Very true. You hit the nail right on the head. Very true.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
people,
was speaking to
yeah.
somebody this morning.
Hmm.
I'm telling them, go to this person. No, I'll go when the time is right. It's a bullshit. Of course, I'm nobody to tell when is the right time, but I can see it. Like sort of, what you're saying. No, we can see it, but it is their time.
Deepa,
So
very
this is a
interesting
very
fact
important
is,
stage. Yeah.
so Deepa, just,
Yes.
sharing, even if like,
Mm.
again, when we talk about this kind of a journey, the journey is theirs. Even if
Yeah.
we guide them, they would not go. Okay.
Yes.
They
Yes.
would go when they would want to go. And that's when they
Yes.
understand what exactly it
Yes.
is all about.
Yes.
So, as you mentioned that, your
Yes.
boss
Yes.
knew a year ago that you would leave. And he mentioned that you
Yes.
would come an year old, okay,
Yes.
later. So, in fact,
Yes.
if he would have interrupted, it could be devastating for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then,
Absolute.
you
Absolute.
have to travel your own journey.
Yes. Correct.
Hmm.
Correct. Yeah. It's like opening the bud before it actually wants to grow.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
Hmm.
That's true. So here's reflection for you. When was the time when you felt the need for change but kept quiet, in fear or in denial? When did you resist the call for transformation? And if it's happening right now, please make a note of that. And mind you, it is not others' journey that you see, but it's your own. You have only control on that. It is not your husband's, your in-laws, your child. It's your journey. We often tend to see others better than ourselves.
So Deepa, Shripriya here.
Yes. Yes, Deepa.
Okay, we do undergo restlessness, we do have
Hmm.
fear and all that. But that becomes part of our life. This is as
Correct.
it's quite usual. So how do
Okay.
we identify that there needs an action, and that action is either to get to a therapist or go to a coach, or why the next step? I mean, is that really so critical that you have to go and change your life altogether and take some action that will uh, probably move you out of this fear? Or where do we get that call, or where do we
Okay.
identify what is the
Okay.
next step required?
Yeah. Shripriya, when you're speaking, what I hear is you use the word we, you. So the
Okay.
first aspect of this journey is to own it and say I.
Okay.
That's the first step to go from outer to inner.
Okay.
Now, can you rephrase the same that you asked me from a I perspective?
Okay. um, I feel restless. I have constraints at the moment, but how do I identify that this is serious enough to meet a therapist, or I would need coaching at this moment to move forward?
Yeah. So when you feel restless enough that you cannot bear it, is the right moment. Some people do it proactively. Some people do it reactively. It also depends on your temperament. I was pushed to a therapist when somebody told. I did not know I needed one. I didn't know. I thought I was going to a therapist as part of my therapy training. It was fancy.
Okay.
So, how will you know? You will have to wait, and you will know it. And I see today the nomenclature is therapist, coach, etc. If you were to ask me, go to the person and not to the title.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I never go to the title. Because if I go to the title, I'll get stuck in it, and there'll be another resistance, another fear, another irritation, another resistance, which is of no use.
And the
So
connect to
go
the person happens on
first.
its own.
You just talk to the person, and you know you're meant to work with this person, but you don't know why, and you don't care what their credentials are. You don't care, what is their PCC or PCC or whatever. You don't, or credentials, coaching credentials. You don't really care. I'm not sure many of my clients really know my credentials.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is not today. Like today, I'm in the coaching journey, but in my yesteryears, nobody really knew my credentials. I'm not sure many people even know I worked in corporate, because actually they don't look at LinkedIn and all. Corporate clients do, but people who come individually, they don't. They just look at the connection. They look at the energy. You connect with the energy, you will know. Priya.
Hmm. Getting it.
Now, not always this happens at this stage. Yeah. Sometimes it happens before, sometimes it happens later. And sometimes the same mentor continues throughout. So, this is when the mentor's wisdom, support, guidance all comes. And they are literally like that. Uh, like if you have a pot at home, then you're the ones who are feeding the pot with manure, etc., so that you allow the flower to bloom, the bud to bloom. This is that. As long as it's needed, they are available. Because the hero doesn't have to go through it alone. And honestly speaking, I though don't believe in it. And for me, even fitness journey, I don't do alone. Even though there are so many YouTube channels available for fitness, I need a physical person. I cannot do with YouTube. Even to learn crochet, I went to somebody, and knitting. I need to see somebody. So a coach or a support, a mentor. And mentor is a very important part in this journey, because they have traveled, they have the drishti, they know it. They may not know everything, but they know it. So honestly, a lot of times you actually play that role for your coaching. I'm sure you're a coach, but in essence, I'm talking about the energy that you embody. The energy that you embody comes from the fact that you have traveled and the questions that come to you. I mean, those coaches who take questions from the question bank are not coaches. So when you have a conversation with your client or your coachee, and that comes from a space of intuition, it's because your inner mentor is active. So it's time to now recall, who are those people who have played this role in your life, or who are currently playing this role in your life. How did you meet them? Was it a chance meeting? And when you think of that mentor, how does it feel in your body? Like when I think, na, mujhe sukoon milta hai. I feel my spine is held. I actually feel it, even if I don't speak to them.
Yeah, for me, so of course, as you mentioned, uh, of course, when you think of them also, so it's a moment of sukoon. They are your
Yeah,
century. But that is also for me. It's like यार अब उनका भेजा करने का भी टाइम आ गया. बड़े दिन से भेजा नहीं खाया है. So
correct.
that is also there.
Correct. और वो बोलेंगे आ गई फिर से.
The first it's where the first sentence usually these people I was aware you are about to come.
Correct. Yes, exactly. And we also play a role of a mentor to so many people. And there are people when uh, they say a line, I just know the entire story. Yes, Sarah.
So, Deepa, my question is that, I mean, I'm just curious here that sometime, is it possible that this story does not flow in this
Yes.
cycle?
Yes. Yes.
So
That's why I
maybe,
said, कभी
yeah.
कभी mentor नहीं होता.
So maybe sometimes the refusal is because I don't have a mentor.
Yes. Yes. And I'm stuck. I will not attract a mentor.
Okay.
Yeah. I see this in my son. After years, he's open. He's not refused.
Thank you.
And so I think it's a loop. This doesn't happen, then you go back, and then it doesn't happen, then you go back. So पीछे 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 जाते रहते हैं. The forward doesn't happen. So and until you reach that abyss, of you can't refuse anymore, then you move forward, and then it's smooth.
Thank you.
Deepa, Ashwini here.
Yes,
Um,
Ashwini.
I wanted to share what happened with my journey. For
Mm.
quite a few years, I think 4 or 5 years, I could not point out at one mentor. And I realized post that journey, irrespective of you meet somebody or not, you still get to do the work in whatever capacity you can. You still continue putting in effort. You do the inner work in your own way. And when the mentor has to come, they will come. If I have to look at the last 8 to 10 years of my journey, the first half I did not have a mentor. Because professionally, I had mentors at work, all of that, and they used to discuss life with me, but I can't say they were my coaches or mentors. The last 4 5 years, I very clearly have 3 to 4 people, support people. I don't know what to call them, coaches, mentors. They've done a lot more in my life. So just wanted to share, not seeing the mentor yet does not mean I can wait to start the journey. The journey can
Journey.
still go on, and when the mentor has to come, it'll still pan out.
Yes, yes. And that happens when the person who is journeying is very conscious. So Ashwini, you're conscious, and hence you feel this, and this
Yeah.
is the way your journey has gone, carried
Mm.
out.
Yeah.
So if you're not conscious, then it's difficult.
Yeah.
And that's grace actually, that
So I
this is how your
realized
life.
either something has to trigger you to become conscious, or you make a choice to be
Yeah,
conscious.
correct.
I also want to share something how I identified a mentor. Actually, you don't identify a mentor. The mentor probably just comes in. I believe that, and I I experienced the power of a mentor. You may call mentor, coach, support, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
When the first time I experienced grief in my life, that
yes,
was the first time that I experienced the power of somebody, like you said, holding my spine. It was like
yes,
holding me as a whole.
yes,
And that's and this was 2 years back when I lost my mother, and I I came across this person, or we found each other, whatever.
yeah,
And since then, she's been not just there for that particular aspect, that particular thing that happened with me, but across all facets of my life, whether it is professional, personal. So I think meeting a mentor is can happen at any time. I met mine through grief.
absolutely. Thank you. And then you cross the threshold. This is the leap that Shivani you talked about. Yeah, because this is the feeling that where I am is not healthy. It's not me. I don't belong here. And that's how I felt. I don't belong here. And it's a clear choice. So all of us who have left,
Yes.
left relationships, left people, left jobs, left anything, we have experienced this. And a moment of no turning back to that space. And it's a continuous process. So would be good to realize and reflect when all has this happened in your life. And when you think of taking this leap into the unknown, What image comes to you? What's your metaphor? The rising sun.
So, Deepa, I'm curious about another thing.
Yes, Vinisha, absolutely.
Uh,
Very true. Yes, Saurabh.
so, Deepa, in every segment, we are talking about what we are feeling in the body. So,
Yeah.
uh, how how does it make, I mean, I understand that it's an awareness that I am bringing to
Mm,
myself,
mm,
but
mm.
how is it helping me connect the dots or that current state for myself?
You'll have to go back to that instance and feel how it felt in the body. And why I'm asking this is that if currently in any area of your life you are experiencing this stage, you'll be able to identify because the body will remember.
So I'll
Yeah, this is
relate,
what
I'll
you'll
connect
relate.
that to
You'll
my,
connect. Yes, yes. Current experience in some other area of life.
okay.
Correct. You'll be able to relate. And I generally ask because the body is the only truth. Everything else is a fiction of the mind. All stories and narratives we create. So body is truth, and for me, body never for everyone, body never lies. So bringing that awareness is very easy then to say, अच्छा ये मेरी सच है या नहीं?
Thank you.
So now we've done the leap. Now we have to face all the tests, allies, enemies, and everything that happens inside. So, of course, there are so many trials that we go through. Uh, Especially people who are in the inner journey, one of the tests is that we have changed, but the environment is still the same. They relate to you as a past version of you. And it's so frustrating that you just are confused whether it's you, that is you, what they're saying is you, or whether you are you. This is one of the biggest, experiences. And everything gets tested. Old patterns reappear and you sometimes succumb to the old patterns. There is an urge to go back to comfort. And I want to bring in, Tim Galway's performance potential equation here. Performance is equal to potential minus interferences. This is the space where all the interferences get magnified and tested because the external is going to amplify all your interferences, internal interferences of thought, of emotions, of behavior patterns, of yeah, these these interferences, even of body vitality. Now, how you use your body to do different things. And this is the time. A lot of times we are in this stage for a very long time. And some people say, that why do you need a therapist? I remember my husband asking me, for how long you will go? I said, I don't. After a point, I started, initially I said for 3 months, for 6 months, but khatam hi nahi ho raha hai. And then I said, I don't know. Actually didn't know. Because every time one more layer and one more layer, and I was in this space forever. Huge number of interferences that unfolded. So, what is your favorite go-to pattern when you face tests? My favorite pattern earlier was lying. And how, if it has changed, how has it changed over time? And currently there is a pattern. Please acknowledge that to yourself. Or saying yes can be a pattern. It was a pattern for me. Saying yes to every damn thing. There's a fear of loss. One more question here that comes is, the tests are real, but there are also allies outside and inside. So what is that? What are those allies whom you call upon to to get over this? Coaching may we say, that once the client has identified, okay, this is what I'm going to do, then we say what will keep you away and what will take you forward. It is actually that. In one full coaching session, ये सारे हो सकते हैं, all these steps. The next is the resting period. Imagine that you've had a combat and you've fought and there is a rest. So going to the innermost cave, preparing. It's a time of pause. At times ये होता है, at times नहीं होता. It happens along with the allies, that section. Okay, because as and when you meet your enemies, you reflect, you do your inner work, you figure out how to come out of it, not go back to the old patterns. So these happen together. But I think it's good to reflect, what is your method of pause? What is your method of reflection? Like after every coaching session or every facilitation, I have my art notes. I'll either make an art of it, or I'll use my sand and I'll make something out of it, or I have these miniature toys to reflect on it. So it's always handy. So what is your way of pause? What is your way of reflection? Either when you're in a combat or in general in life. Because when you know this, you know that you're on the path to unleash your potential. This phase is very important. It's the resting before the fight or the resting after the fight, both ways. And sometimes this phase can be long because either you're tired or you need time to integrate. I do feel like for a very long time I used to feel, why is it that I'm not able to put journeys? I know so much, I have so many tools. Why am I not able to? And I think it was because of this phase where that integration had not happened. I was still pausing, I was still churning. To now I'm unstoppable. Like you have to, my team pulls me back, bas karo. This is the next test. It's called the audience. It's a test of life and death. And I'm saying this is very this is not real death, but it's the death of the ego and the rebirth. And this is the recalibration of really what is my life? What is my life? Are my relationships my life? If they say yes, only then I'm accepted. Is this life really? Does this need to exist? This is real transformation. Till now you're flirting. Now you're in the game. This is the important part that you need to recognize. But if you don't go through this, no, Priya, you asked this, no? If you don't go through that and you don't find a mentor, you don't figure it out, you don't nail it, you will not come to this phase. And the feeling of I'm not moving forward will keep knowing you. Okay, so if you don't want to be, so you know what can happen if you get over it and do something about it. This is what can happen.
Hmm.
And that is the reason you can knowingly go through this journey.
Getting it.
Hmm. And this is this really the stage I want to there was a time when I would not take clients who had sexual abuse cases. I was not comfortable. I just couldn't do it. Also transgender. I was not able to deal with those clients. When I did a lot of inner work, today I can take them. In fact, I'm working with a transgender. It's as good as any other client. So we can take a client or we can meet a client only as much as we have traveled. And that is really true. And this is the mark. If you feel you can't take, and it's okay to not take, but at least it's a wake-up call. It's a call for us to really see. It was a call for me. Why? What's there in me which something is dividing, something is not unifying or uniting. And what is that? That was my question. Once you get that, there you get your reward, the gift. It is birth, rebirth. It's a new sense of self. It is sense of self, actually. And you may have felt it already at different points in time in your life. And you would have gone through the call again, the adventure again. And you may have, in this, the most important thing, and that's the last question that here. Did you celebrate it or shrug it off? Every time your sense of self was built, it was an opportunity to say, hey, this is who I have become. It's an opportunity. And now you come back. You return back. You have a mission. You're continuously integrating. The journey never stops. Next journey will unfold. You will give back. You will have another test. You will keep doing that. Your new identity will be tested. There will be challenges, but you will return with the elixir and you will share it. In some area of your life, you may be doing it. In some other area, there may be a restlessness or a struggle. It's a call for adventure. So the question is, where are you currently in your life? And you don't need to know the names, but it's really a very broad archetype. There's a call, there's restlessness. Either I take it or because of fear of getting into it, I don't go there. And when you feel you can't deal with it, you go for it. You meet all the enemies, challenges. Each stage can be as long as who you are and how the challenges come. You come out with a transformed you, and from that transformation, you want to create something for the world. And which is why when every new leader or a coach or somebody brings something new, there will be many people who want to buy that. So there is so much for everyone. There's never a dearth because there is so much that we can give. Yeah, and uh, I in my dance therapy training, no dance and drama therapy training in 2012, 13, um, when we actually went through this model physically. We actually had done it. I think it was a 2 or a 3 day thing. And I was blown away. It was too overwhelming for me at that point in time because I had not understood it. But when I did it with the body, I understood, oh my God, how broken I am. I need to be shaken. And that is I'm saying 13. Today is 25. And somehow I've now got the courage to put together a retreat based on this in May. And I'm going to use body. And I know the teacher, the one who taught me was my then supervisor. So once I do my design, I'm going to go back to her and I'm going to ask her to supervise it. Because I know that I learned it from her and I want to go back to her and say, is this what I'm, giving? So just today I was remembering, her name is Anshuma. And,
Wow,
yeah,
that
sorry.
sounds very interesting, Deepa. Would you like to share a little bit more about this retreat? Because I think with the kind of framework that you have shared and your own personal experience of 12 years, you're putting together a retreat. Can you share a little bit more about it? I think it will be of benefit to a lot of us here
Yeah,
to know
sure.
about it.
So my idea is to really bring these stages and bring see I wanted to I think I missed a few things. My idea is to now I wanted to share how in a coaching session this happens. So contracting is basically being in the ordinary world and you're asking them, what do you want to explore? Where do you want to go? So some people don't want to go through the adventure. Some people have that call. So they take the call. In the awareness, actually, it's the opportunity to go through the threshold, the ordeal, look at the enemies, fight the enemies if needed, find the courage to fight the enemies. All of that happens there. And the action phase is like the return. So in one session, all of this can happen, and all of this can happen in any conversation, in parenting, in facilitation, in deep friendships, any conversations. This really can happen. And see these tools, no? These are some of the tools that I am going to explore in the retreat. Because a lot of times, being in the ordinary world, how you can hear things like, I feel stuck. I think I'm playing it safe. Let me avoid this. I can't talk to them. Okay. The moment you find yourself saying this is the indication that you're stuck in the ordinary world. When you say something needs to change, I feel it in my body. It's a call to adventure. Now is not the right time is the most favorite one. We may have said it too at some point in time. Yeah. And that's the refusal to the call. In the audio, I don't know who I am anymore. This is the most famous thing most repeated thing I've seen. So what are these tools that we can use to observe this journey in ourselves, in our clients? This is a very big aspect that we will be exploring in the retreat, which is uh, how do you look at fear? This is the biggest one that pulls you back from fighting it, from going all out. What does fear mean? We will be doing a lot of somatic inquiry, working with the body, but no body work and a lot of work we will be doing. But these are tools you can use to explore your resistance. Beliefs work, somatic work. Somatic work is something I'm going to because I'm going to get people face to face for 3 days. It's a 3-day thing, so a lot of time. And once I feel you start inquiring, that was sort of your question. No, but you start inquiring, then you will not stop. आदत लग जाती है, लत लग जाती है. Automatically you will start seeing, where am I feeling it? Yeah, yeah. So these are some of the tools I want to explore
Excellent.
in the retreat. And yeah, I can just share.
This definitely sounds very interesting, Deepa.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel it. It's interesting. So yeah, this is the what we are planning to do, what I'm planning to do is to really use all these methodologies: somatic awareness, deep reflection, group group work, nature immersion. It has a lot of nature where I'm going to be facilitating it. Storytelling, theater and drama. Drama works very well when I'm using this framework. So a lot of that plus mindfulness. These are some of the methodologies. Rest what comes up. I will share this when these are some of the past retreat photos. I mean, not on
Yeah.
this, but on different other topics. Yeah, that's it. So if you're curious, if you're interested, do reach out to me, and we can see if if it's the right. It's not that always it's the right thing to attend. So we can have a conversation and see if you need it. If you need it, then it just accelerates.
Yeah. Deepa,
And
it'll be good if you can share this brochure in the chat, or I can do it if you
okay,
want.
okay. Can
It'll
you?
be
Can
very
you? You have
helpful.
it.
I'll do
Okay,
it. I'll do it because I
sure.
think it'll be very helpful for everybody to sort of go through it and take that call or that leap or however we want to, whichever
True,
stage we want to brand it in. I'll just share
true,
it.
true.
I do have
Sure,
it.
sure. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Any thoughts? Where are you on your journey?
I love the name Purnatwa. Love the name.
Purna. Yeah. Thank you. That's Purna and Tattva. It's the essence of fullness.
Excellent.
I think I'm somewhere between the call to adventure and the refusal,
Mhm. Yeah.
fighting
And
resistance,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the call is very profound.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So here it is. I've shared the retreat in the chat box, the details. You all can save it, download it because it'll go after the meeting gets over. So whoever's interested,
As
please
you
save it.
shared, what comes to me is if you've been long there, a faucet delivery can help.
I like the metaphor you're using. I think it's quite true. That's what usually works for me.
Okay, you don't have to put all the push and the pressure.
Do we have any more questions or any more reflections from anyone? Anybody would like to share as we're, you know, almost ending this session? Anybody? Any more questions? So you all have Deepa's coordinates. Please feel free to be in touch if there are any questions that you may want to ask her. Post the session or separately. Please feel free to do that. Wow, Deepa, what timing? We are bang on. It's 7:58, 7:59. So I have 1 minute.
If all of us come on video and just show up, that takes
Yes.
1 minute.
So please, everybody, let's come back on our videos. Wherever you're cooking food or you're doing,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, it
walking,
doesn't
please,
matter.
it doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
matter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Doesn't
There is
matter.
cooker CT behind me as well. So it's the reality, right? So just like that, fellow heroes, we've reached the final chapter, if I may call that, of today's epic adventure. And it is just the beginning, I think, for a lot of us. Big thanks to you, Deepa. I think this was a
Thank you.
very powerful framework, and this has helped us see a lot of our own potential, probably which we were not even aware of. I am, definitely walking away from this session feeling like I've just unlocked a power up in my own journey. And I'm sure a lot of people here resonate with that. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who took out the time today on a Friday evening. Like Deepa says, whether you're battling the dragons of self doubt, crossing the threshold into something new, or returning with hard won wisdom, if I may call that, remember the journey is still unfolding. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. The journey is still unfolding. So keep embracing the adventure. Thank you all. Wishing you all a very, very legendary, journey onwards. It was absolutely great, Deepa, to have this session with you. I'm very happy that you chose me as a host. I truly enjoyed our conversation,
Thank
this
you.
conversation, and I think it was definitely 1.5 hours of solid value addition. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for agreeing. Thank you.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
ladies. It
Thank you
was,
all.
Deepa,
Thank
as
you. Thank you,
always,
Deepa.
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Lot of takeaways.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Ellen.
you so much.
I
That's
also
surely
enjoyed.
you, the learner in you. Thanks, Ripriya, for attending, for asking
Yeah,
for it. You reminded me, and then I sent you the link. So you really, that was your call.
but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank
It
you.
was worth the call.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Shivani.
Thank you. Thank you, Shripriya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
You too.
It was a nice session. Somebody's still there.
You need to stop the recording. Okay, I can also do that. One sec.